certifications in different areas. Today, I'm going to be addressing obesity. The first thing I like to say is that being obese isn't a bad word. Sometimes we live in a society where we hear certain things and it has a negative connotation with it. Obesity is a disease. It's been determined by nearly every professional organization that it is indeed a disease. It's not something that you just try to do. Granted, you might have had some issues with overeating, but you didn't sit down one day and decide, I'm about to be obese. I want to be obese. It is an illness. It's a condition, and it needs to be treated. And it needs to be treated by someone who knows what they're doing. So if your provider is telling you, exercise, lose weight, go on the paleo diet, get on the treadmill, that can all be good, but it's not going to cure you, it's not going to treat your condition. You have to identify exactly what is causing you to have the problem. So one thing that Dr. Coleman, she probably will come back and hit on this some more, is functional medicine. It's a discipline that addresses the root causes of health problems, not just give you the medicine. And can I tell you how many people come in and just say, give me Ozempic. Right. I'm sure Ozempic. Don't even know what Ozempic is, but then give me Ozempic. So, and if you suggest something different, then give a little attitude. So, in the office, we don't have time to deal with attitudes. So, when you come in prepared. If you do not trust your provider, get another one. Don't come in with a preset idea of what you want the doctor to give you, because it might not be right for you. And even if we did do Ozempic, you still have to follow the basic protocols of either losing and trying to maintain weight. And it's easier said than done. And if your provider is making you feel that it's your fault, you find somebody else. Because in most cases, it's not your fault. So I put several handouts in your folder, and in the interest of time, I never planned to go through all of those handouts, but I want you to have the information. I want you to pay attention to the vocabulary. Because when you start dealing with weight management, you need to know what you're talking about. Know what you're asking for. Understand the biology and the pathophysiology of weight management, weight loss, and weight gain. This will help you if you review this information. Just 2 pages, vocabulary. You'll see cardiometabolic diseases. That's a specific category of diseases that we are actually trying to prevent. We do not want you to be as concerned. You do need to be concerned about how you look. But there's an overriding concern that's greater, and that's your health. Because it doesn't matter if you look like the princess in your new dress. If you're not around the next week or month to even see yourself in that new dress. Health is always the greater concern. So I want you to look at the cardiometabolic diseases. And in the African American community, it is beyond an epidemic. Heart attacks, stroke, diabetes, insulin resistance, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Now, a lot of what we've said is repetitive. I'm saying some of the same things that you just heard, and there's a reason for that. And So when you see medications that are out on the market today, those medications are mimicking things that are either produced in your body or that can be found in nature. So here you see the list of hormones. Insulin, which we all know pretty much about insulin, is being around forever. And we know, probably every one of us in here probably knows someone who takes insulin or uses some type of medication for controlling diabetes. It's a hormone. Glucagon, that's a hormone. It works with insulin to control your blood sugar. Adrenaline, we all heard about that, I'm pretty sure. Epinephrine. Fight or flight. We weren't designed to stay in a fight mode all the time. But as African Americans, you can easily see why we might be in that mode. Especially if you're an African American mother and you have to send your children out the door and you don't know what's going to happen. They could just be doing nothing. And someone look at them and judge them by the color of their skin and think, pow, they need to take that one out. That's stressful. So most mothers and women that I know, they try not to, but it does cross the mind when you're sending, especially your adolescents and your teenagers out into the world that's not necessarily prepared or know and understand what it means and what it feels like to be a young African American. So these are some things that have to be considered that they directly impact obesity. Because you weren't meant to be in a heightened state of, I've always got to be on the lookout or be worried about my child. Or it could be your husband. Cortisol, as we mentioned, stress hormone. You will have a very difficult time trying to lose weight if you are stressed. Stress has to be addressed and dealt with. People do it in different ways. I would say address it in a healthy manner. If you smoke cigarettes because you're stressed, that's probably not a healthy way to address your stress. So we do work with mental health therapists, counselors, and ministers to work with people to help. Don't think that you have to do it alone. For some reason in the African American community, we feel like we gotta be strong. We gotta get through it. We gotta do it. You do have to get through it, but you do not have to do it alone. Your healthcare providers are here for you. If they're not the one. Do not feel bad when you have to excuse yourselves and find another provider. You want someone who's going to care for you, who's going to take the time to listen to you, to hear you, and help figure out how we can deal with that situation. Estrogen and progesterone, we already know. Women, all over the place. You have it going through puberty and adolescence, hormones all over the place, mood, dysregulated. Then you have it again, perimenopausal, menopausal. All these things are real, very real. They're actually hormones that affect your body and affect how you handle stress, how you deal with life on an everyday basis. Now, before people became more involved in understanding perimenopause and menopause, women were actually put in sanatoriums and mental institutions because people felt you are absolutely lost your mind. And they didn't, they hadn't lost their minds. It's just that their hormones were dysregulated. and no one at that time knew how to deal with it. So you would go to the doctor and they just tell you, it's going to be all right. It's not going to be all right. So it will be all right when you get the help that you need. So again, looking down that list, there's certain other definitions that you'll see that's really, really important. These hormones are very important because they need to be in balance. And when they're not, you feel it. And it may not be you that's lost your mind. You just probably need to see your doctor. Or, talk to your healthcare provider and get evaluated. You don't have to figure it out on your own. I see people all the time that go to the Google. There's nothing wrong with Google. But do you think that Dr. Coleman and I went through all these years of training and we learned that on Google? You can get help, you can get information from Google, but it cannot replace the professional healthcare provider. If you believe that, you are deceiving yourself. Get the information, learn what you can learn, research what you can research, but get you a healthcare provider that knows what they're doing. So as Dr. Coleman mentioned, some of the gut hormones, leptin, ghrelin, amylin, the medications that people are asking for today are based off of the work of those gut hormones. Now, if you have issues with absorption and you can't even absorb the nutrition, the prebiotics that you need for producing the hormone, you're going to have a problem. So, again, not all providers are equipped to deal with these things. The most that they might tell you is, okay, well, let's check your thyroid. Let's check and make sure your thyroid hormones are in balance. They need to be in balance. No ifs, ands, and buts are about it. If your thyroid hormones are not in balance, you are going to have some major metabolic problems and a lot of other things as well. So it needs to be checked for sure. But that's not the end of it. Then we have probably, like I mentioned, the Ozempic, the GLP-1 category of medications. There's also amylin medications, and then there's combinations of GLP-1 and amylin medications that are combined together to work to mimic the hormones that's in your body. And then you probably heard on TV, at least I've been seeing it a lot, advertisements, come in and get your peptide therapy. There are practices that are opening up now that are offering peptide therapy to help you lose weight, to inject your body with peptides. So I have on there what exactly peptides are. Amino acids. And then peptides that they don't want to put in you are the short chain amino acids. Proteins. So make sure you're familiar with those definitions because you're going to, if you haven't already, you're going to see them a lot. And then you also want to be prepared so when you do talk to your provider and they start talking to you about things that's not like totally foreign, that you've actually heard of these things, you're kind of familiar with it, and you know a little bit about what's going on. Because you're not going to get 4 hours to sit there and go through this. You'll break it up and you'll come back. You come, I don't know how many sessions you do with people, but it takes some time. All right, so we established that obesity is a chronic condition and it's due to an excess amount of body fat. Obesity risk, again, repeating metabolic syndrome, energy expenditures, and imbalance. You cannot eat like a fat cat and then go sit somewhere in a corner and don't do anything. You're going to blow up like a balloon. So even with the hormone factor, you must have a balance in energy and expenditure. Inadequate physical activity is a major contributor to obesity. Unhealthy nutritional choices. McDonald's. Don't start your kids off going to McDonald's. Obesity doesn't just happen when you become an adult. For some of us, we only notice it then. But when you start with your youngsters and your children, don't they be rewarded? We're going to McDonald's. What are they going to put in you, in your child? Processed food, which Dr. Coleman just told you is a major contributor to obesity. Your medications, environmental factors, these are key things that are very important to your health. So risk reduction is overriding. Everything that you do, risk reduction is an overriding point that you want to try to implement. Change the things that you can change. The things that you cannot change them. You work with your provider and you find ways to address them. Do not, don't go stop taking your medication, your prescription medication that you got from your doctor. And I say that because sometimes people think that, well, I'm getting ready to do some garlic water, and it's been known to reduce blood pressure, so I'm just going to take this garlic water. Doc, I don't need that no more. It's a sad, sad situation when you see what happened to that person, that they had a stroke, they're in a wheelchair. They have significant impairments because they were ill-advised. It's important to have good medical advice. And yes, herbal supplements are appropriate. They're good. They're wonderful. I use them in practice. I make them. But you will not hear me tell you, stop taking that insulin, baby. If you get to the point that you don't need it, your labs will show that you don't need it. We will have proof that you don't need it. But until that happens, keep the faith.
Amen.
I'm skipping a bit of this because it's more repetitive, but we already talked about the multifaceted, multidimensional paradigm for weight loss and weight management. And sometimes we need to change our paradigm, change how we look at things. How do we view obesity and weight loss? Do we even really believe we need to lose weight? Because we look good. I said, I think looking good is really, really important. Now I'm going to back up to a little bit here, just take a couple of minutes here, because I think it's really important that we understand the impact of colonialism on health. So, my background and my family comes from the south below the Ohio River. And we had traditional healers, people that knew herbal medicine. It was a very well-known fact before Columbus came to America. Columbus did not discover America. Someone came up with that and they taught that, and it's sad because it minimizes the actual contributions that African Americans, Native Americans, Chinese Americans, Indian Americans, it minimizes the contributions that these people have made to medicine. So I would say that we need to make sure that when you see a herbalist, that they are trained, that they know what they're doing, and that they are following the protocols and established, we have like a pharmacopoeia that you use for categorizing herbal medicines. So you need to know who you're dealing with. But I do want to tell you that before people spend a lot of money on Ozempic, people were using herbal and traditional medicines in the African American community, in the Native American community, and there were Black Native Americans. Well, all you see on TV is, you know, the fair-skinned ones. But I want to bring it to your attention in case you do have Native American heritage, that you need to find and discover your roots. Because the Muscogee Nation was African American, Native American Indians were recently granted their citizenship with the Muscogee Nation, which is huge because their children are covered up for tuition, a lot of benefits because they are part of the Muscogee Nation. So it's important that you realize that transatlantic slave trade, it happened. But all of y'all didn't come through transatlantic slave trade. Some of your people were here already. And traditional medicine was here before Columbus came. In fact, Columbus contributed to the murder, rape, and killing of many traditional healers because they wanted the secret. And if they didn't give it to them, they forced or tried to force access to the traditional medicine. So I want to also mention that Harriet Tubman, she was alive up until 1913. She used herbalism and botany, this plant medicine, to help her people during their escape from the Underground Railroad. George Washington Carver, we always hear about him in the Peanuts, but he pioneered organic farming. He was the first person that introduced nitrogen fixing, soil amendments, and increased fertility and productivity for farming. How many of you know that there was a lot of African American farmers? So healthy nutrition, whole foods, is a part of our heritage. That's who we are. Somewhere along the way, we got introduced the Pizza Hut. And they told us, yeah, baby, you ain't got to cook that food no more. You go on over there to McDonald's, they already got that number already. It's not real. So, whole foods are who we are. Not just African Americans, Appalachians. Do you know there's Black Appalachians? That's right. The foothills of northern Alabama, those are the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains, the mixing of cultures. So those people, they call their pens britches. Give me my britches. I'm going out into the fields. So take back what's yours. They told you, the herbalists and the people that were making tinctures, concoctions, herbal preparations, they told you they was witches. They told you they were witch doctors. They told you they were ugly. And every picture you saw, they had demonized them with horns or bones in their nose. Take back what's yours. The devil is busy, but that's not what he's using to get people. If you want to know what the work of the devil is, I can't even point you to the people that would really know, because they're no longer with us, but their descendants are. They will tell you how to identify the works of the devil. And a pumpkin is not one of them. So, did you all know that Jesus was Lord of the harvest? And we have children going around, they don't want no pumpkin. Pumpkin is healthy. Good food. Take back what's yours. Take back your heritage, your culture. You're going to end up taking it back anyway because most people cannot afford a zip. I talked about this ethnocentricity, influence of European colonialism, concepts of health, obesity and treatment, influenced by colonialism. Who told you you were ugly? Who told you that what God created was nothing? Effects of colonialism. If you need to lose weight, you're losing weight for health, not because you have to fit a European beauty standard. So as Dr. Coleman mentioned, nearly every system in the body is affected by obesity. Your heart, kidneys, your bones and joints, your liver, well, those things. Talked about that. Then semaglutide, all of those GLP-1s, they all have different manufacturers. Some of them are made by Eli Lilly, some of them are made by Novo Nordisk, with Cody. Always on TV talking about Look at the side effects. It's contraindicated if you have a personal or family history of medullary thyroid cancer, or if you have, can't even say that, hypoplasia. It's cancer. So you have to be pretty desperate to want to take a GLP-1. That means you've done everything that you can do. You have changed your diet. You have implemented changes to your physical activity. You have implemented changes to your gut health. You have eliminated all types of trans fats, and you have eliminated all kinds of high lipid products. You changed how you eat. It is a lifestyle change. If you've done everything that you can do, and you're meeting a brick wall, and you're not able to lose the weight, yes, there's help for you.